Good evening, good morning, good evening, good afternoon, depending on where you're listening. Welcome to Swahili Sunday. I am working on having a couple cameras going here. It's very interesting to do that. And I'm glad to be here. I'm glad to be actually a little better shape than it was last week. Usually I go back and I listen to my lives to kind of see how they are and see how I think that I came across. And I was looking at my live from last week, and man, I was pretty in a pretty rough space because my cat George had passed away a few days before, and I just wasn't doing that great. And then the weeks before that, just coming back from Kenya, I was absolutely exhausted, and I had to go right back to work, to my corporate job. And I actually went back to work the day after I came back from Kenya, and I knew I'd have the Friday off. It was an off Friday. I came back Wednesday, June 14th, and I went back to work Thursday. And I don't even really remember much about that day. It's a blur because I got back in the evening, like late evening. I think I got back at something like 8 something. By the time I got home, it was, I don't know, 10 p.m. or something. And I took a shower, and then I had to get up and work. And then the week following, it was getting over the jet lag and the exhaustion. And then the following week, our cat George and he wasn't, like I explained last week, he was on hospice care, so he had to be put down, and that was really rough. Last week, Swahili Sunday was, I was in a rough space. But one thing I like to always say is it's not all, I say, rose petals and fairy dust or whatever. It's not all roses and a wonderful smelling garden in life. Things are happening to us each and every day, and it's often rough to get through. And it's how we get through those moments, and then having people to lean on for support and to get you through those moments. And thankfully, my one friend Alex came down and took me to breakfast Saturday after George passed. My son came down with his dog Gracie, and Gracie and Indigo played. We took them to the dog park. That was a lot of fun. So that support helped me get through it. And now this week, I'm finally feeling like a human again. So I thought I'd share an actual Swahili Sunday that I thought about and prepared for. I didn't look up a Swahili word today, though. I forgot about that. But I wanted to talk a little bit about Gary Vee. I had seen him put out a quote that says, stop hanging around people that don't want you to win. And I thought that was really profound, because a lot of times we hang around people and we think that they want us to win when they really don't. Or not only do they not want us to win, or maybe you think that they're a great connection and they end up stealing your intellectual property, which happened to me many years ago. I've explained that before, but there is actually a scripture, First Corinthians 15:33, that says, do not be misled. Bad company corrupts good character. And that's kind of primarily referring to not hanging around people that'll drag you into sin or whatever. But I also think that you don't want to hang around the bad company that's going to take you to a place that will get you off track, or will keep you from actually moving ahead in whatever your goals are, or will actually steal your intellectual property, or will do something to keep you from moving ahead because they don't want you to move ahead, because if you moved ahead and they don't, there's some jealousy thing there. I'm sure you've had those things happen to you. I've had those things happen to me throughout my life. I mean, I've been around a long time. And the thing that's interesting to me, I was in the military for 23 years. And I remember when I first got out, there was somebody who said to me, oh, you don't know anything about the real world. You're very nice, but you don't know anything about the real world. And there was a lot of truth to that, because if you've lived in the military bubble like I did for 23 years, not that bad things don't happen there, and that there aren't people out to tear you down or whatever, but it's on a much more reduced scale, because those people's, like people that go to do bad things, their bad things usually come to light pretty quick, because they get found out a lot of times. You know, we hear about things where people in the military, there's been obviously military sexual assault has been going on for many years, and that's still a problem. But and those kind of things go on behind the scenes. But for the most part, it, you can tell who wants you to win and who doesn't, kind of thing. And you usually gravitate towards different people with that. So that many years ago, I actually, and well, so what I meant to say with that being in the military, I I hadn't operated in the quote unquote real world. Now, obviously, military people, we live in the real world. We're part of the real world. Uh, but we live in the military environment and we operate in that environment. And my last base, I lived on base. Living in the UK, I lived there for 4 years, but it was still within a military environment, even though I mostly hung out with people like British folks. I was a member of a Harley owners group there, and I hung out mostly with people that were from England. So I still have a friend there. As a matter of fact, I saw her, my friend Claire, on my way back from Kenya this time. I stopped off in London, had a 7-hour layover that I had to fight for because Delta changed my flight. I shared that a few Swahili Sundays ago. And I was grateful to be able to have a 7-hour layover. So I went and spent about 5 hours hanging out with her. We just walked around. We went to hung out and had a bite to eat and caught up, and it was great. So she's somebody that I met in 1996 when I was stationed. I was stationed in England from early 96 to late 99, so about 4 years. And it was phenomenal. I actually would have stayed another 4 years, but the commander that was there at the time was not a very good leader. And actually, everybody was walking on eggshells and fearful of what he might do next to people, because he would just, he had some issues and he was looking for people to just take down. And I was coming to the end of my career and I thought, yeah, I really can't stay around that. And that was a decision that I made about uh, not being around someone that didn't want you to win. Like, he didn't want anybody to win. I don't know what the problem was there, but he really didn't want anybody to win, and he made sure people didn't win. So avoiding that, in the way to do that in the military, sometimes you have to wait them out. But I would have stayed another 4 years in the UK, but I came back because of that situation. I made a conscious decision to get away from that. So then I get out of the military and I'm running around in the quote unquote real world. And I don't realize that there's a lot more, I guess you could say, cutthroat things that go on, or people that are out to do for themselves more than they are for you. Now, obviously, we all want to win, but there's a phrase that says there's enough room at the top for everybody. So you want to think about that. And a lot of times people get jealous, or they get angry, or they get frustrated, or they get hurt. I was eliminated from a project once. I felt like I was canceled, and I really got upset, and I let them know about it. And I had to apologize later because I let my emotions come out. And it wasn't because I didn't want them to win. I just didn't want them to win without me. And it hurt when they eliminated me. But sometimes those things happen for a reason. And you have to take and understand, think about, why is this happening? Why isn't this working? Why isn't this going this way? And then later on, you kind of see why things happen. For instance, I always talk about how right before COVID happened, my speaking business basically dried up. And I could not get a paid speaking gig or training for any amount of money for whatever reason. I couldn't understand what was going on. It drove me to go get a corporate job, which I still have today, thankfully, and I'm working from home. Because I wouldn't have made it otherwise, because I took that job in December 2019, and March 2020, everything shut down and all in-person speaking and training shut down. Now, I know some people, I had one speaker say to me, "Oh, well, what's wrong with you? I converted greatly online." Well, I didn't. I didn't pivot, or whatever term you want to use. because I wasn't focusing on speaking. I was focusing on Baskets and Beads Kenya. And in order to keep that going, I was willing to let go of being a full-time speaker and trainer and make that business work. And in order to do that, I needed income to feed into it, which is why I took a corporate job. And we're still working a little on recovering from that, as everybody is. But I didn't see up front, like, why. I don't understand. And I remember I was on the floor crying out to God. I don't understand why this is happening. I thought this is what I was supposed to be doing. And I've been working so hard to do this, and I've had so much success with it. Why is this happening this way? And then I see a few months later, and I look back and I'm like, wow, if I didn't have this job, I would have been in a definite hurting state. So I'm grateful for that. But sometimes we don't realize why things happen to us. But anyway, I wanted to share a little bit about the you have to be careful. You have to be careful who you trust, especially with business ideas and business things, because people are out there lurking around to grab things. And not that I mean, there's nothing really new, I guess, but if you have an idea and you're developing an idea and you want to be the person spearheading that idea, or at least be part of the success for that idea going, and somebody comes and says, oh, I like that idea, I think I'll take it and either and repurpose it a little bit and use it for myself, that that's what you have to be careful about. And I had that happen to me uh, with a major company. And I had gone to an event where they had the women's program representing that company there. And I was so excited. And it was in the motorcycle industry, and I was new, and I was like, oh, I want to inspire more women to ride. Women can ride any bike. And I had done a lot of videos of me riding a bunch of different bikes, and take control of the handlebars of your life was my tagline. And I had a whole thing behind that: go pink, power, integrity, negotiation, and knowledge. Take control of the handlebars of your life, go from the back seat to the front seat, and roll on your throttle to success, and the whole thing around that. And I was doing some speaking around that. And I still actually, because I developed the book Go Pink Rules of Engagement, and I've shared that on here in Swahili Sunday before, the different things about actually stop hanging around people that don't want you to win is the same as the Go Pink Rule of Engagement for surround yourself with people who hold you to a higher standard, not bring you down. So you want to be careful who you surround yourself with. You want to, obviously, we need other people that might not, uh, we might not want to surround ourselves with as friends or colleagues or whatever. But those people in your inner circle, those people you surround yourself with, you want them to be like-minded like you, and you want to make sure that you can trust them. And the only way to do that is to build relationships and build that know, like, and trust factor. Do some research on people, because I have a lot of people that reach out to me that want to connect with me, that want to do business with me. I have people that reach out to me on LinkedIn all the time. If you're listening on LinkedIn, that they say, oh, great to be connected with you. As soon as I hit the connect, then I get a big pitch. Oh, blah, blah, blah. And a lot of times I get pitched on things for human resources, which I am not a human resource person. I'm a contracts person. I do purchasing and procurement. So I'm not sure why I get so many on LinkedIn, human resources. If you're listening on LinkedIn, I'm not a human resources person. I'm also not an attorney, nor do I play one on video or TV. And I get a lot of things like that. As an attorney, did you even look at my profile? I am a lay arbitrator for the LA County Bar Association as a non-attorney arbitrator. So when they have it goes over a certain dollar amount, they have to have a panel of 3, and one of them has to be a non-attorney. And I am a volunteer to do that. I've sat on a few cases as a non-attorney arbitrator. So I guess people get the idea that I'm an attorney, and I get pitched about things like that. But anyway, so this brand, I had met their women's program coordinator, and I thought, oh, this would be great. I'd love to be connected, and shared my tagline and shared all the things that I wanted to do. And I was all excited. And so after that event, they basically ghosted me. They never spoke to me again, even though I reached out to them by email, them and other people that worked for the company that had said it'd be great to connect with you, blah, blah, blah. And then, I don't know, within the year, I think the tagline "Grab the Handlebars of Life" came out. And I was I was gutted because I was like, wow, okay. And then there was a whole program especially when you have a business idea. We have some things going on in Kenya that I've shared with a couple of my close friends, but I have not shared here publicly. I've not shared with anybody because I don't need anybody to come in and attempt to thwart that and to do something to tear that down or uh, so there's things that I share a lot of what happened in Kenya and what we're doing there, but there's other things that are going on that we're not sharing till we get further down the line because you have to be careful with what you share and who you share it with until you're solid in what you're doing because you don't want somebody to come in and think, oh, that's great, I'll just come and take that over, or I'll just do something to stop that, because I've had that happen too. Worked with people who oh, uh, did some crazy things many years ago, and it wasn't that I'm not really sure what the person's problem was, but it's not that they didn't want me to win, they wanted to win. And when they saw me winning what they thought was me winning a little more than them, they kind of went crazy and did a few crazy things. And I thought, ooh, okay. But you learn as you go along. So I'm just sharing some of my experience with you about people I've come in contact with. You want to make sure your inner circle of people are the people that are there to support you. They believe in you. They have belief in what you're doing, and they'll give you if maybe you're going down a path that doesn't look like it's going to work, and they have some experience with that. It's great to get feedback, positive feedback from them. Hey, you might want to consider doing this, or you might want to consider doing that, because you're in it and you can't always see what other people see, but you want to have the right people around you who will help you see and help you get down the right path and help you get to success. It's that eWomen Network has a slogan that says "Lift as you climb," which you're climbing and you want to reach back and bring others with you. You don't want to leave people down and step on them to get up. Unfortunately, a lot of people do that too. So you want to surround yourself with people who want you to win, to hold you to a higher standard, who are there to support you, who are there to believe in you, to push you along, to encourage you, to uh, if they know people, to use their network to refer you, to help you out if they have the resources to do that. I've come across people who have had the resources, not just financially. I mean, there's people who could financially have donated and refused to, for whatever reason, not because they couldn't, they just refused to do it, but also that has resources that can connect you to that person that you need for your next thing. Who is that person? You hear people say, oh, who in my network would you like me to connect you to? If you say that, you got to be genuine with that. You genuinely want to help and connect people with you, and connect the be with people who are they have those resources and they're happy to connect you. And sometimes you have to be part of a mastermind or group to do that, which is fine. I was part of Craig Duswalt's group for a long time, and he is a wonderful connector and definitely wonderful at promoting people. When he used to have his big events, he would bring all people up on his stage and promote people. You want to be with people like that. You want people like that to move you forward, not people who are going to, oh, well, I don't like what you're doing, so I'm going to get a group of people together and we're going to do something to tear you down, to tear you apart, to attempt to hurt you in some way and destroy you. That happens a lot in the cancel culture, but there have been, long before cancel culture, I've had friends who people have gone after to attempt to tear them down and destroy them. And I don't understand why. I don't understand what benefit that does, because there is enough room at the top for everybody. The only thing that could prevent somebody from wanting someone else to do that is greed or jealousy. And those are all part of the sinful nature that we need to let go of. Hey there, Pastor Hezron and Joan. Good to see you guys. Uh, so, and everybody on Instagram. Hey, I've got my Instagram up here going on my phone, hanging over my computer with this really cool device that I got that kind of has suction cups on it to you can put it anywhere. I would take it off and show, but I'm afraid if I do that, I won't get it back on and in the right position. Anyway, those are all things that you want to consider. Those are all things that you want to think about. And now people are going to have disagreements and not get along. Does that mean that that's not somebody you should be not surround yourself with? No, because that's human nature. We all have disagreements and we all get uh, in our own way, I guess, or we get frustrated about something. That's the time when you sit down and you talk something out. And I would highly recommend not doing it on text. I'm guilty. Guilty is charged of being the person attempting to have a conversation on text. And a lot of times my text messages are taken because I'm a direct communicator. I guess because of my time in the military, I'm very direct. Bam, bam, bam. I don't, especially in text, it's like, here's the information. And some people will take that as a different meaning. And I've had that happen to me a couple of times. And I really don't want to do do those kind of conversations on text, and I would highly recommend that you don't do those either, because it gets taken out of context. Oh, well, you said this and you meant this. Well, no, I didn't, because you can't hear my inflection. You can't, if we're just on the phone, you can't hear my inflection. If we're in person, you can't see my expression. You can't see that I'm genuine or sincere. So I would highly recommend, if you ever have a discussion with somebody, especially if you have a disagreement. Now, information back and forth is one thing, but if you're going to relay a lot of information, I was talking about this yesterday with someone I met at Second Saturday up by Fairtrade Long Beach, and about, if you want to text a lot of information, it's best to just pick up the phone and call, or even do an email. But an email can come across the same way. You can, because the person's reading it in the way that they receive information, and you're sending it in the way you send information. So you might not, the communication isn't there. When you can hear someone's inflection, or even a video call, you can do it on a video call too versus a phone call. You can see the person's sincerity in their face, and you can hear it in their tonality. You can understand if they're upset or if they're hurt or whatever, but you want to take the time to not do that by text. You want to set up a time to do those kind of discussions, either like excuse me, like this, or well, not like this, I'm doing a live, but where you're on a video call or a phone call or something, where you can actually get the person's energy and emotion out, and hear that and understand that. So that's kind of what I wanted to share today. I'm getting ready to head off to church. What time is it? Oh yeah, we're almost at the end here. Getting ready to head off to church. Oh, I wanted to talk about my necklace. I forgot to talk about the necklace I'm wearing. This is the Akuleo. This one's in silver. The Akuleo, these are all named after the ladies that make them, are ladies in Bali that make the beaded jewelry. It's a choker. It's completely a choker. But let me take it off so you can see. So it has a little clasp in the back, and then it's got my hair attached to it. I watched them make this. This is a tube, a plastic tube, and then they wrap the beads around very tightly, and then they do this kind of embellishment on it, and it's kind of a back and forth type of thing, and it's really, really nice. So you can find these on the website, Fairtrade Long Beach. You can make an appointment to stop by the shop in Santa Ana. We're going to be doing some live events. Speaking of live events, we are working on a live event for the fall, a live fair trade event in Santa Ana. There'll be more details about that. I'm going to be interviewing the person who has the place where we're looking to do it. We're looking to bring fair trade to the Santa Ana area and have a different kind of fair trade event. And when I say different, a lot of times you go to these pop-up events, and they are a bunch of vendors popped up. Maybe there'll be some food trucks there, like some of the bigger events, the ones I'll be doing. I'll be definitely at the Irvine Village. Hopefully, they'll accept me this year in the Fine Arts Festival. And they usually have food trucks at those events, but and again, it's a lot of walking around and shopping. And we're working on having a different event with some ideas that I'm developing in the background that I'm not going to share until we know that. But just know it's going to be a different event, and it'll probably be October, November timeframe. So it'll be good in time for holiday shopping. So you can check that out as we develop that. I should know more about that in the next couple of weeks. I just wanted to share that as a uh, preview of upcoming events. And next week I'll be on the road doing the B&B Live from North Carolina. And then the following week, we're going to start having guests again. If you'd like to be a guest on the show, you can just reach out to me, B&B Live, our B&B Live show, Sustainable Fair Trade Network. We interview fair trade and other businesses, other small businesses, and then sometimes bring on experts that have tips about different things for business owners. So if you're interested in that, you can message me or email at eldonna@basketsandbeatskenya.com. All right. I'm surprised Crazy Paws didn't come over here and poke me to go out, but I'm thinking that I'm going to take her out and then head to church. And I hope you got a lot out of today's Swahili Sunday. Remember, you want to make sure that you like stop hanging around people who don't want you to win, which is the same as surround yourself with people who hold you to a higher standard, not people who bring you down. From my Go Pink rules of engagement, make sure that you trust but verify the facts on people that you get into business with. Make sure that you're connecting with people that actually are there to support you and are not going to do something to maybe take your business idea, like happened to me many years ago, like I shared earlier. And make sure that you support other people, lift as you climb, as they say in eWomen Network, because there is enough room at the top for everyone. Everyone should have the opportunity to make their goals and dreams come true. But as I say in the Go Pink Rules of Engagement book, also, you have to take positive action towards your goals and dreams. Dreams without action are merely fantasies. You want to make sure you have fun along the way while you're doing it, because if you don't have fun, then you end up wearing yourself out and exhausting yourself. Take some me time for yourself. Make sure you do things like take a walk, get a massage, spend some downtime doing something you love. Sometimes I like to sit and crochet, read a book, draw, whatever you like to do. Go shopping, hang out with friends, whatever. But you want to make sure that you do those things as well. So, all right, everybody, I hope you all have a great rest of your week, and I will see you soon. Nakupenda.